been quite an interesting week. Of course, it's August, and CHAN is ongoing. African Football Fiesta. I don't know who will win it, but we are here to enjoy the moments. But also, let's introduce our panel.
Go ahead, Dr. C.
Dr. C here, still preaching wine and drinking wine. Samantha Wines.
Yes.
So you can open it, actually.
Yeah. Simon, as you introduce yourself.
Yes.
Samantha Wines is available everywhere in your wine store.
Can you call your daughter Samantha?
Yes.
But then now it's... I wouldn't say what it is. Continue. Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Maria?
And I'm Maria Nyombane Waweru. I'm so happy to be here. I am an author and I do a kids magazine. Most importantly, I am so happy to sit with this panel every single week. You guys are just... You are therapy in your own way. You just don't know. And don't brag. No bragging.
No, thank you. We know we're such a big impact in your life. We understand. We are very humbled. And the aroma of Samantha's wine just arouses my thoughts. And I'm Simon Says, the one and only. I'm here to even arouse you with my words, make sure that even I keep it real with you. But first, we gotta make sure we pour out some wine quickly. Go ahead, Dr. C. Give me a glass. Yes, indeed. CEO, what story are we starting with?
So let's start with the Kenyan opposition politics.
What's going on?
That it seems that the Kenyan opposition politics is not doing their job and they're not up to scratch. Remember that for a very long time we've depended on His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga for the shaping and keeping government in check. Then the bread-based government came.
Well put.
And now,
cheers to that.
Since it's a bread-based government, he and his team, some of them joined the government. And Mr. Rigiji, the former deputy president, has stepped up. My only problem with Rigiji is that he becomes too tribal sometimes. But I don't know what's your take.
Mine, it's a very interesting take. When it comes to the opposition is us. Let's be real. The opposition is us. The opposition is us, the normal Kenyan citizen. And the reason why I want to put it that way is because all of these political figures that we're seeing, well, in one way or another, engaging with one another. You know what I mean? Kalonzo was here trying to beat Katikati Yao. Then all of a sudden he was with Baba. You know, there's a lot of wishy-washy. Then Baba is now with the government right now. And then Rigiji was previously, he's an ex. He's just basically that ex that's speaking around. All of these people were in one way or another involved in government. I like the fact that at this moment in time, the Kenyan public and the Kenyan citizen is the official opposition, and we're speaking up and we're actually being loud about it. Reason being is this. We can articulate the issues that concern us and when it pertaining to us. We don't necessarily need them as a mouthpiece for us. And that is actually very helpful because it helps restructure the narrative and not relying on politicians to structure the narrative based on actually what they want and their own selfish interests. Because what happens a lot is this. Right now, you see everybody that's in the bread-based government that our CEO has stated, they will actually now, wait next year, this time, Dr. C, how many of them will resign from cabinet secretaries? How many of them will resign and then actually say that indeed Ruto must go? Then they'll start singing with us, Ruto must go. But we are the true oppositions. Kenyans never lose their mantra that we are the true opposition, and we should embrace that because when we are the opposition, we are holding them account to the things that they promised us. Even if you voted for President Ruto, like maybe Dr. Steven confessed even last show. And then now, even if that's the case, you should be the most strongest opposition because you should hold those people that you voted for accountable, not to appease them. Your job is not to appease the people that you voted for. Your job is to agitate the people that you actually voted for to make sure that they deliver on what you asked, on what they promised you. If they don't deliver on what they promised you, it's upon you to be on their neck every single time. Terrorize them until they call you terrorist and throw terrorist charges like Boniface Mwangi. That's what you're supposed to do. That is what you're supposed to do. That is the level of opposition that I love. I love this about even us Kenyans. We're growing. We're not here waiting. We're growing up. We are holding our leaders accountable, and we actually know this. We're not waiting for elections to say that indeed Takoto or whatever. We are holding you accountable now. And I love that. Do you know what that's going to lead to? Them delivering on that road that they promised you. Them delivering on those things that, in fact, that they were supposed to make your education better and CBC was supposed to actually function. Them delivering on the promises that indeed taxes are supposed to be lower. Them delivering. Because indeed, we are at the stage in which we want to give birth to a new Kenya in which we want to see systems changing.
Yeah, we are the opposition.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. We've shown that we are the opposition. We are the ones who are calling out things the way they're supposed to happen, and we are really doing a good job because every day when something is not going the way it's supposed to be, we speak. However, this is my concern. How many years do we have to election? Now, according to everyone else who would want to be elected at that time, do you think we have, like, us the oppositions, do we feel like at the moment we have someone who, because, you know, we'll sing right now, Ruto must go. But the other person, who has actually shown promises of I will deliver, or who has shown, like, because maybe they've not put their manifestos very elaborate and something that we can see and say that, oh, you can. And you see right now, as Kenyans, we've known that we can be promised heaven and actually go through the literal hell as it is. So at the moment, yes, I agree, we are the opposition, and it's a good thing that we are opposing to the things that we are not agreeing with, that we are the things that are not favoring us, we are speaking them openly, and we are holding them accountable for their word and their promises. But do we actually have a leader? If you can explain to me, like a playgroup child, if we say Ruto must go, do we have someone who can say, who can stand for us?
There are enough people in Kenya who can actually lead.
Thank you.
And let me just say that you are talking of bread-based government.
Yes.
And then you ask the question, are we the official opposition? I'm like, if I was Jesus Christ, yeah, I would create more bread and just give it to people, since we are talking about bread-based government. But since there's just this bread that is called Kenya and the Kenyan economy, it's one bread. And you know, when you push a human being to the wall, the only way they have is to push back. Ruto, you remember very well, bottom up. Can you remember what Raila? No one remembers. You're one of the few people. He's one of the few people who actually remember. Inawezekana nini? Lazarus can rise from I don't know what.
Yes.
Just now. You see, this is what possible. I'm saying. This bottom-up thing resonated with so many people, and that's why we are all remembering it. Honestly, I couldn't remember what was the manifesto of the other people. And this means so that even the person, the smallest, the most vulnerable person in Kenya understood that message of bottom-up. And they knew exactly what it meant, and they bought it.
That's true.
And it means the disappointment is deep. And that is not necessarily a very bad place for Kenya to be. Because for the first time since the independence, we are united behind this seeking good leadership, behind issues that really affect us. And we are pushing back on this narrative of tribalism. We are pushing back on this narrative of you just give me, you go and bribe voters. The voters now, they know very well. Yes, I'm going to take your money, you're bribing me, but I will not vote for you because they know. You know, they were given hope. They knew even you are able to rise as a small person there, Mama Mboga, you are able to, inawezekana, but it's bottom up. Not inawezekana for a few people, it's bottom up. Inawezekana for bottom up. So I know a lot of people seem to have lost hope, but I want to say that Kenya is in a good place. Because now we are united we have things we are fighting commonly about, and that's a good place.
That's true.
Yes.
See you?
First of all, I'll cut Ruto some slack. And then I go with that. The political class needs an overhaul. It is not only Ruto, he's the epitome of it. But if you look at our country, since 1960s, we've had a fundamental problem which needed to be fixed. Well, it started with Jomo Kenyatta allocating and taking all the Mau Mau land and does not even give them, and he was paid for it. That's why Piogama Pinto was killed. That's why the Mau Mau lawyer arguing Skodek was killed. And then you come to Moi's tenure, which also we not talk that much. And then Kibaki had a time we needed to reset the country. Then those broken promises. Then Uhuru started borrowing heavily. And then Ruto came into power. And he mastered the art of borrowing. And borrowing beyond our means.
I thought you were cutting him slack.
No, so I'm cutting him a bit of slack because all these other characters have always been there. So the problem we have is our political class. And I can tell Kenyans, you can see the way Rigiji is attacking William. Be careful that in 2027, the two
could be together.
They'll be together.
Yeah, Rigiji.
Rigiji and Ruto will end up together.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh my God, Riso.
I'm telling you.
But it happens. A month and a half ago, the Standard Group ran a newspaper headline saying the graveyard of companies. So many companies are leaving Kenya and either leaving, closing down and just going and establish somewhere else, or they establish somewhere else and running the affairs of their affairs in this country from another region. Most of them are citing the current economic situation. It's just, and the cost of doing business is just really high. And you know, I just had to, the list is so long, yeah? So long. I want to just read them. You know, they are talking high energy costs, unfavorable investment environment, the taxation system, my goodness. You plan for this, in another 6 months' time, you just cannot plan. You know, regulatory challenges, low sales demand because of the economy. The Kenyans, the purchasing power has just been reduced, insecurity, corruption. These riots we are seeing, corruption is something else. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so now we are looking at, I'm looking at the companies that have actually closed. You're gonna bear with me, I just wanna read them because it is, oh my goodness. We are talking GlaxoSmithKline, Best Titanium, we are talking about Procter & Gamble, we are talking about Bayer. Oh my goodness, Bayer East Africa, G4S,
G4S downsized.
They've even left, yeah?
Wow.
There is a Foschini Group. There was a Hunting Alpha, which was based at the EPZ. They left. There is Africa Oil. They exited. Caltex left. Colgate Palmolive, my goodness. Can you believe? Johnson & Johnson, Ajip, Unilever, ExxonMobil, Shell, ShopRite, Nestle. Oh my goodness. They closed the Kenyan office. Cadbury, you know, they are serving Kenya from other markets. Bridgestone, Reckitt, Benckiser.
All of those.
Oh my goodness, this is Delarue, Sandy. Sandy used to be my logistics partner. Now I'm with a different one. Jumia Food, Zumi. There was a company called Market Force. Oh my gosh.
All of those.
All of those.
And then now.
What is happening?
What's happening in the business world?
Let me tell you something. This is a time whereby we need tissues on set because we would cry.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I remember when news started that companies are closing, and I kid you not, it's really hard. You know, let me start by saying this: the basic things are food, clothing, and shelter. So if your company is not food, and not all food, because right now people will start improvising. Clothing, they have options. You can go for the cheapest of option. You can go and thrift. And shelter, you can look for the cheapest of rent. You see, that is the option. But if your company is these other things, let's say, for example, you work with, let's say, the beauty products, the lotions, the clothes, the high-end clothing, if you know that your company is something that the general public can do without, you are you are suffering when the economy goes down or when the taxes go high. Because at this point, you have to struggle to make sure that you meet the production. But remember, if the economy is going high, you don't have people buying that. Because right now they are struggling with other things, like my kids need school fees. And I've already taken my kid from this school that was paying this to a lower budget school so that at least they can afford life. So if people are struggling to afford life, a lot of businesses are bound to suffer. And in that case, you find that if the taxes now go high, a lot of businesses will close. Because now you look at the market versus the taxes, it's not adding up. So you will understand why a lot of companies right now would leave. And you see the stabilization, by the time you come and stabilize, let's face it, the taxes right now are so high for businesses to even operate. And if you know very well that what you're producing or what you're giving the public is something that they can actually decide that, okay, I have to cut costs, they're going to cut your company, what you produce, as the first cost they're cutting. And that is why you find that a lot of companies will keep closing. Now, here's the deal. If businesses were given a better environment to do their thing, like they have better environment for their production, their taxes are not bad, and like what they need is provided, you'll find that even the economy of the country will go high. So this is whereby we say that in as much as we think increasing taxes will make us get more revenue to make the country better, actually making the life of a business person more comfortable will help you collect more taxes and make the country run better. But do we say, I wish I was their legal advisor of, I'm not.
One thing I just want to add is this, a little piece of insight, even for Kenyans, when it comes to even, we all understand that taxation has gone up. Now, the reason why, one thing you have to recognize is there's a lot of short-term need for quick income by the government. And this comes usually as a constraint. Yes, it can come a constraint in which goes against the promise that even the president made that Kenya will sit at the table of these Western nations and other things in a position of power, which we maybe did not, because clearly we're in a constraint in which we have a quick need for short-term money. And one thing that I have noticed as a repeat factor is this. There is no other ingenuity for other sources of income by the government apart from let us now tax so you can actually get the income. Income generating mediums, even what we call it, laws and actually things are not laid down or not even a priority by the government. It's more of even to provide even a situation in which you can actually earn more as a business person. That's a little bit too long term. You have to remember that, because they will allow you now to build, and then now before they actually now begin the whole taxation, they don't necessarily have an income generating product that actually now separate from that, which are other avenues that many other governments have, which then now make it so that I don't necessarily have to overburden my citizens. I can now put in measures and put even laws in which I can now facilitate income generating activities for the citizens, not short-term little jobs like these little jobs that they give in a certain period of time for the young youth. So, gee, you pay them a certain amount of time and they end. Is this mtani?
Kazi.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Mtani, yeah, kazi mtani. Notice it's not a permanent. Notice that it's not permanent, because permanent institutions require time, efficiency, and a lot of input. Yes. They do give long-term return on investments. And that infrastructure and that laid down procedure of it all. You see, for example, Kazi Mtani. Let me use Kazi Mtani, for example. Kazi Mtani is a short-term thing that the government, quote-unquote, uses to say that indeed they are, quote-unquote, making jobs. That is not necessarily something that someone would say, I work at Kazi Mtani, this institution that primarily does this particular thing and offers this particular output to the public. The government does not have time to set that up and does not think anything long term. They think in the spirit of short-term return on investment and quick output. And that's why they would rather tax more, and they choose specifically to tax places in which now business people, in who they think that indeed they can milk them for quick revenue so that they can actually execute their duties that they want and the tasks that they want. And the lack of a long-term view in the Kenyan context comes at a cost. And now this is a cost. The cost is this: investors don't see any foundation that's actually being laid down for anybody to put a business, let's say in a span of even 10 years. You see, you have to think, as a business comes to lay in external, as an external even investor comes down, even Carrefour or so other people, they want to now place their, one of their branches here or even headquarters or so on and so forth. You have to put in measures in which that go beyond even the presidency limit of one even president. You have to think beyond so many, so many years. And then what are the actual benefits of someone coming in and doing that? Although they may have tax breaks and everything, but they will still have heavy fines that they put on them because they want some short-term revenue for their projects. That is how, when you have now short-term views and short-term needs that you want to now restrict, and you want to restrict your span of view only between like 2 years or so because you're thinking you're only one term, the main thing is you now restrict the growth of business people. You restrict the growth of even now Samantha's Wines wanting to expand because you're restricting them because they're now constricted to build even mass production. Even now for her to even expand even to Tanzania. Why? Because you're restricting it because you're not giving a place in which now it can be a level playing field, and not even level playing field. The taxation burden is not on the citizens. It's actually, there's a way that they've spread it across so many years. They're not thinking, how am I going to milk her in this particular industry for this particular time period, and how am I going to maximize on the return of investment, and how am I going to use KRA to make sure that I'm on their neck on all little petty transactions. When you spread the spreadsheet across many years, you're able to get better in a conducive business environment. That is the real reason why you see many businesses leave, because they see only short-term sightedness by this government. See?
The biggest problem we have is the cost of fuel. The biggest problem we have in this country for the businesses is the cost of fuel, because remember that we have the G2G, but if you look at comparably the fuel prices in East Africa, you find that today our fuel is the most expensive. We are at around 189, we're going to 200. While Uganda, which is further from us and used to buy from us, they are 7 shillings less. Ethiopia, they're around 10 or 15 shillings less. Tanzania, they're around 15, 20 shillings less. So what does that mean? It means, remember that most of our energy is powered through our fuel and it's taxed. The cost of fuel from wherever we buy to Nairobi and to the pump is actually 80 shillings. The rest of that tax is tax. So for the first time, Kenyans are paying more tax for fuel than the cost of fuel. The cost of fuel is 80 bob, the tax on fuel is 85 shillings. So that's where we have a problem. Now, most companies use a lot of energy to do production. So it means when the fuel goes up, the cost of transportation goes up for them, the cost of everything else goes up on our Kenyan when the fuel goes up. Now, coupled with lack of proper business environment where you do not need to pay kanjo tax and you pay the government tax and you have to pay your operational tax, these taxes should have been consolidated into one good tax, and the new entrants should have been given a tax haven where you say you are starting a business, we will not tax you for 5 years, but bring your returns so that you grow the businesses. Exactly. If the country does not grow businesses and the operating business environment is bad, then all these international companies, they look at what is available in the region and they say, oh, Rwanda, I can actually take my company to Rwanda because the tax regime is much better, their cost of fuel is more manageable, and the cost of transport and this organization. Then they go to, right now, the Ethiopian Prime Minister is doing a massive rebuild of Addis Ababa. I don't know who has gone to Addis Ababa recently. There's a serious rebuild going on in Ethiopia. Serious rebuild. And you can see they have decided, are they going to do the railway network? They have a perfect railway network. Are they going to do a transport system? And the ports, they are doing the ports. So what is happening is that we need to rethink on how we are going to tax our businesses. Otherwise, Kenya will forever remain a graveyard because the competition around the region
It's getting tough.
is getting tougher.
But me also, what I want to say is we need to have I like, Simon, what you said and what you've said also about Ethiopia. I was in Ethiopia, and one of the things I realized, Ethiopia is actually a powerhouse of Africa.
It is.
Number one, the patriotism.
It's real.
Oh, let me tell you. The patriotism of the Ethiopian people. The patriotism. If they can figure out how people can if we can figure out how we can get the dollars out, the patriotism will convince you to set up a business there. They will never, like Ethiopian people, they are very patriotic, number one. And because of that, they have a patriotic populace. They will really, really grow. It means so many people will go to that country, so many investors. So now back to what you said about having a longer term view, for businesses having a longer term view. This is why it's so important that on the government part, they also have a longer term view, because we should have technocrats in those CS positions, in positions that run ministries. Yeah? They should be run by technocrats. You know, we need to have vision bearers. Once you have politicians who come in because you're giving political kickbacks, they come in and they don't have that long-term view. They know they are there because they've been elected by a certain politician, and this is their deliverable. And then we lose that long-term view. So who is the vision bearer for the Ministry of Agriculture, for example? Who is the vision bearer for most of the ministries? People are coming in and going, and so we lose out on the. So it's not about, actually, in the past, I know I've said that we need a president to go for 10 years. Yeah, I think Kenyans need to have that opportunity to break at 5 years. But as far as the real business is concerned, we need to have the custodians, the people who know. We tried this, it didn't work. Now can we try this? And then you have those people who are actually there holding that. And then the other thing on the issue of taxation. You know, there's this like building levy. Like all the other taxations that require that an ordinary person, an ordinary employee contributes, and then the employer contributes. Some companies have so many employees that becomes really, truly a burden. And then also we need to find a quick solution on how Kenya can actually bounce back out of these riots.
Yeah, before we go on a break, I would like to say something. Sometimes the vision bearers of those places are actually the problem, because someone will come, just state, get what they want, go out. We've seen that in our education system, like seriously. CBC, the first person who introduced it, was doing a good job. But now, CBC has moved from one hand to the other and to the other and to the other. It's even changed name to CBE. It's now something that if you look at it, you will wonder. The grade 9s are guinea pigs, and the rest of them do not even know where they're headed to. And if there's anyone who has full information, please, you can comment.
Yeah, let's not go on a break, because let me give an example of an industry that is working so well that we could really take a leaf from. So there's this lady called Wandia Ishuru. She started a Vivo. It's a fashion store.
I know it.
And then now she launched something called Shop Zetu. Now Shop Zetu is leveraging Kenyan fashion. You know, she asked a question. You mean Kenyans, we cannot dress ourselves? We can't dress ourselves. We're using mitumbas. We're relying on other people to dress us. And she decided to do something about it. So Shop Zetu is leveraging Kenyan designers who are working with Kenyan tailors, Kenyan people, Kenyan textiles, things made in Kenya. And now she has this platform. Let me tell you, have you seen the trucks around the country? The pikipikis delivering things? She is a living example, that company is a living example to show that indeed it is possible. We can build our own industries. Long-term jobs, I like what you're saying, long-term jobs that can sustain families. So Kenyans, we can do it. It's not the president, let's do it. Let's make choices with our pockets. Let's build Kenyan brands. Imagine we must join in this.
Yeah, we would like to buy Kenya and build Kenya. Actually, I'm one of the people who says that buy Kenya and build Kenya. But Kenyans at the same time, sometimes we need to preach this hard enough for them to actually agree to do it. Because recently I posted something on a content creator, like kids are constantly exposed to international content creators, and because of that we don't have any Kenyan content creator for children who will be like teaching Kenya kids the cultures of Kenya, how their country runs, like anything about Kenya. So what do? We are constantly on international cocomelons and all that. That's what our kids are exposed to. But we do not have someone who will come and say, by the way, Kisses do this and Luos do this. This is something that you can steal in children. Yes. But we don't have that in Kenya. If Kenyans
create it
themselves.
Create it. Oh, wow. Imagine I couldn't actually get a Kenyan lullaby for my baby. Like honestly, I went online. So my baby who was brought up on Mozart, on all these, even they say it wires the brain differently. Please create those platforms. Can we have the Kenyan storylines? Yes, for kids in Kenya, actually. That would be nice. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back on Let's Be Real while I think of this business opportunity. You should.
Welcome back on Let's Be Real, indeed. We're going to keep it real with you. I'm going to go on with some very good sizzling stories. Right now, Maria, you have a very interesting story. Tell me more about it. Okay, let me start by saying this topic is very sensitive. I always say it's sensitive because there are people actually who are struggling to have children, and there are others who are choosing not to have children. Let's differentiate the two. There is I want to be child-free, and there is, I want children, but I am not having children. Let's have the difference between that. And we are realizing that nowadays, actually in Africa also, that is something that people are embracing. Like, I would like to have no children. Some it's due to economic reasons, like kids are expensive. Some is to, actually recently I realized that there's another reason why people are choosing not to have children. Why? I have lived my life parenting my little siblings. Now I want to know how it feels to live alone. That is something that I've had one or two people say. I've also had people say that they don't want to have children because, first of all, they have a time limit. If I don't have children by this time, then I'm good. So it's more like now it's a choice that people are making. And let's face it, this is Africa. The society will always question why. However, there are people who actually would like to have children and they're not having children. So this is not to discriminate anyone. This is to discuss why and how and is it okay for people to just make a decision and that decision to be respected by the society. Like the society should not have a say, should not pressure or should not push anyone who is choosing to be child-free. CEO. Go ahead. No, CEO start for. Yeah, go ahead. CEO, let me know. Even though I have strong.
See, I think one, people can decide to marry or not to marry, to have or not have children. Because if you look at in Kenya, we have the highest young population. 70% of Kenyans are under 25. So what does it mean? We have children. It means Kenyans are having babies.
Yes.
And making babies. Them in plenty. Yes. That's why that population is as big as that. Number two, and I think
or our life expectancy is low.
No, our life expectancy can also mean. It has even gone up. It's around 60, 65. It's gone up. We used to be at 55. Now, another thing is that I do not have a problem with people who choose not to have their babies, because if you look at the country today, the majority of single mothers, and Kenya is leading in Africa
Oh.
for single parents. Kenya is number 1.
Yeah.
The ladies are
Africa.
looking for billion. We don't have enough billionaires.
So what is happening is that Kenyans
why.
are actually giving birth to very many kids. So the people who have decided not to have kids, it's their choice, and they might have a reason not to. And the society today, we have seen people, you don't have to have kids because you are living your life. It is more individualistic than before. If you go to the village, there'll be an issue. But many people nowadays, we are trying to change a few things. Many people live in town. You come here, when someone dies, is buried in cemetery. Other people don't want to own property, and we have to be aware of the realities of life and the changes of environment and the society. Our society is changing rapidly, and these things are allowed. Anyone who decides not to have a baby, well and good. You should not be pressurized.
Dr. C?
So for me, I'm just gonna have a very scientific,
Go ahead.
religious scientific reason. I'm gonna be discussing the reasons why people may be surprised and maybe question your decision of choosing not to have a child. And and I must qualify it and say that for as long as I grew up, I knew I wanted to have a table full of children. Like 12 children on a table is something I always wanted. Having a child, I always wanted to.
You're
And
still
many
trying?
people. I had one,
Okay.
yeah, but if I had it my way, I would have a table full of
Okay.
children. But that said, so it's a big reason I even got married. So when I was getting married, we went to this counseling class, and the catechist who was taking us through the marriage counseling, it was 1 whole year of church, and every Sunday. And so the catechist asked, what is the main reason of getting married? And there was, companionship. Oh, they said wrong. The main reason of getting married is procreation. Babies. And incidentally, even though it's wrong advice, so I was watching something online this morning, and this lady who is a doctor was saying the reasons why even at 55, especially for women, your body completely changes. It becomes something else. Because your body, you're created, the main reason you're created is to procreate. To procreate.
Why do you say it's wrong?
Procreate, it's wrong advice because that's why the woman's body shuts down, because menopause is something else. So you have to supplement, you cannot just live like that. And if you just say, you're not going to do anything, you see a woman's life begins to really go down. The quality of life really goes down. So biologically, even women are designed for that. Because once you go into menopause, your hormones stop, and you realize these hormones were so in charge of so many things. It was just not babies. There were so many things. Literally, your body sort of begins to shut down, so you have to supplement on estrogen, all those things.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So from a biological point of view, but also this religious point of view, so humanity is wired such that women and even men, your job is to procreate. So naturally, that's why when you decide you're not having children, people, yes, will understand your decision, but inside they're questioning, okay, like, is everything okay? Who hurt you?
True. Let me go.
Are you?
Before you say something,
go ahead.
before you say something, let me say something. I am all for make your own decisions and will support them. What I'm not all for is make that decision too young before you realize what you want, you are going to end up in life. If you know you're going to get married, I want to get married, please make that decision with your spouse. Do not make that decision alone. Do not impose that decision on someone you're with. Yes, it could be your own bodily decisions and your own personal decision, but it involves someone else here. So you could meet someone who wanted to have children, and then along these lines, you've stayed with this person. That's when you are opening up that, by the way, I tied my tubes. Oh, by the way, I did this and this. No, you do not make that. And if you're making it, make it psychologically, saying, I will not have kids. And when you meet someone that you fall in love with, put it on the table. I decided I do not want to have kids. But also, keynote, do not take any permanent thing on your body, like maybe permanent contraceptives, because you may find someone that actually want babies and you actually want babies with, and it will be something that you will feel bad about. And yes, you are free to make your own decisions. You can decide to be child-free, but also ensure that it's not that you are imposing it on the person you are with. Because at the end of the day, we also don't want you to give birth to babies that you cannot take care of.
That's true. Even just to add on, as the only person here with no babies, now, because all of you guys, I'm a virgin to them, they have done bad manners.
That is the point. That's the point when you drink some.
Exactly.
You're only a virgin because you don't have evidence.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to now reproduction and everything, there is something in the urban scene, especially in around Nairobi. What you notice is this, especially even a lot of people who go to now, there's a weird celebration of men who get vasectomies. And then there's a weird like celebration of women who like tie their tubes, as if they've done some moralistic thing. Let me point this out now. When it comes to now men, when you decide to get a vasectomy, congratulations if you think that now you need to be celebrated. Especially even a lot of young guys, because even you see a lot of young ladies even celebrating that. You say, oh my God, I saw a young man there, he was going to get a vasectomy. I saw that was very empowering. There's nothing empowering about that as a man. Nothing. Nothing. Don't even think about, no. And even those women who are probably even celebrating you, they're happy they're not even reproducing with you. And the truth is this, when it comes to now taking measures to now restrict even yourself from even reproducing or even getting a kid in the future, that is a very self thing, not something that you should seek to be celebrated for. There is nothing empowering about you making an active choice to not have kids. Remember, it's a thing that you've made for yourself. I want to make that very clearly. Don't seek to be celebrated for it, be it a man or even a woman. Now, when it comes to even you as a man, when you actively even choose to even, when you don't even have even any kids, even as you even get older, expect to be ridiculed and looked at, hey, Simon, what's wrong, my brother? You know, reproduce and get some babies. There's something wrong with your tool. Like, hey, can you get it up? Are you even able to even reproduce with anybody? Those are things that you be criticized for. Accept it. Don't cry. Wah, wah. No. Society is not here to coddle you. Society is here to even wonder, is there anything wrong with you? When people ask those questions and you become defensive, you're being defensive because of your own insecurities. You need to be alert that indeed these questions are being asked out of concern. Even if your own relatives may be, quote unquote, they may be thinking that they're ridiculing you. You should view it in that sense that I have made this decision of not having kids, accept the consequences. Because even those people who choose to have kids have to accept the consequences of those kids themselves. Even if they have those kids when they're young, or even have those kids when they're older, there's consequences for every action. So anybody who even cries that I should not be discriminated or point fingers because I made the decision myself, my whatever, you will be ridiculed. Accept it, expect it, and make adjustments that indeed, because I have made this decision not to have a child, because I have made the decision to get a vasectomy or even to tie my tubes, you will be ridiculed by society. Expect it and make a mental adjustment to actually now mitigate it mentally yourself. Don't you dare tell society to adjust to you. This is a decision that you've made for yourself. Hiyo ni shida yako. Congratulations. That is what you have chosen.
You see, why this thing has become that many people don't want kids is because of they are getting kids. They've seen the struggles some people have undergone. And also there are people who, you see nowadays, women take very many men to court over child upkeep and all that. So some men have become that's why they're taking vasectomy, because you find someone telling you, you earn 100,000 and they want the whole of that amount. And there's no agreement between you and the lady you ever be. So there's a problem there. There's a lot of our laws and how the upkeep laws have been. And also there are girls also who just want someone to have a baby with. You have two babies from different fathers. This one gives you 100, this one 100. You're sorted.
200.
200.
Yeah. And that happens a lot. And that happens a lot. Even, I want to go even further, even though that's the thing, the entitlement of that lady even gives me reminiscent moments of how even many Kenyans who are even in the diaspora, they complain a lot about Kenyans who are here in Kenya. Yes, they do. And that happens a lot. From the Kenyans who are in UAE, Kenyans who are in the States, Kenyans who are in the UK, Australia, or even in China, all manner of places. As long as you've gone to Machu, all of a sudden they want you to actually make sure that you deliver and you actually even send back money to them. There's a level of entitlement that happens to a lot of Kenyans, that a lot of Kenyans have towards even Kenyans in diaspora. Before even I share my thoughts real quickly, because I have my own unique thoughts on this particular thing. Have you seen this kind of behavior and what do you think about it?
I have seen how some Kenyans are not patriotic. Let me say something.
We're not patriotic.
Let me say something.
Explain.
There is someone who will leave you and then you find that you've gone to the States, you come back, 3 months, just 3 months, you forgot your accent and your tribe and everything else. Like you came back, you've forgotten who you are, totally. You speak with your nose and then you act as though we do not know how to speak. That is bad manners, by the way. Let me rule that, underline that, bad manners. But also another thing is...
But teacher, we're just trying to adjust to a new place that we went.
No, you adjusted. You went for 3 months. 3 months is not enough for you to forget your name and call yourself Mariah, not Maria.
Mariah.
Who says Mariah? Okay,
So let's you Mariah's wife.
Yes.
But even on that note, why do Kenyans feel some type of way? Because the adjustment of the accent usually happens so fast. You can tell someone who's actually faking it, someone's actually even you can tell by that. And that fakeness usually comes from the security showing that indeed I have been somewhere beyond here.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
And that's why you feel that those who are here, those who are there will make it look, let's face it.
Yeah.
It's not like when you go sometimes I always say this, if you can make good money in your country, run a good business and be able to afford your family, stay in your country. That is what I always say.
But travel.
If you travel for go on the vacations, they come to Masai Mara. Let us go to their places. Let us go to Japan and see the cherry blossom. Let us go to their countries and enjoy the good things they have. But if you can afford your life in your own country, stay in your country. Because it's not that fun to be abroad, away from your home, away from your country. And yes, sometimes they show us something so flashy when they go there. But in real sense, I've seen friends who've left me here and went. And their life is good and others are doing great. But then if you picture their life right 10 years, 20 years from now, one reason why they will even be scared of coming back is they will find that I built something at home in my homeland for my kids to inherit. But for them, it's there. And sometimes it gets to a point whereby home is the best. East or west, home is the best. And yes, for me, I feel like it's good to go outside the country, but to travel. If you can build something in your own country, build it. But for those who are coming back, we have noticed your fake accent. It's Maria, not Mariah.
Mariah, thank you so much. Dr. Say.
The people in the diaspora, Kenya, like your fellow people don't want you back.
Why?
You're not wanted back. Why? Because you represent a source of income. That is just the truth. You represent a source of income for them, and therefore they don't want you to come back. And when you come back, they feel so that you're coming back with such a level of, you already got so much money, and you're coming to take their opportunities. Like, how can you go abroad and come back? Like, how can you come back? It's like, no, you can visit, but no, you're not welcome to come back and settle.
I guess.
Yes, but
Ouch.
The other thing I want to say is that on the issue of accents, to be fair, I know people who've gone overseas to work, and especially in the US, a lot of companies will force you to learn their language.
And the accent.
And the
By
accent.
force.
A case in point is Larry Madowo, who I love very much as a Kenyan, one of the... And
CNN.
CNN, and I liked him even when he was on the Kenyan TV. I think he's a very gifted journalist. And have you noticed his accent has had to change a little? Not a little, it has significantly changed. And when he's actually in his element, reporting, he switches back to that. Because a friend of mine told me, she actually worked in a call center.
Yeah.
And people would call, And when they sense like, what, excuse me, what are you saying? Excuse me, your accent is disturbing. Like, I cannot hear you. So she had to change, and every day you have to practice and practice. And since they're here for a short time, why would I sacrifice the accent that I've really learned and switch back, and then I have to go and do a lot of back?
Some are back for good.
Even if they're back for good, they've been talking
the same way.
The same way.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it's the colonial mindset that we have.
True.
The colonialists came and said the Kenyan culture is bad, and for a lot of African countries, it's a bad culture, your languages are bad, let's see the way of the light. Of course, with a Bible and a gun on the other hand. So we went to school, we were told even your names are bad. So we took on all these foreign names. And there's that reinvention that is coming, and we have to cut ourselves some slack. It's coming back. We are taking back our names. We are taking back our accents and rediscovering ourselves. We are no longer embarrassed about it. There's a lot of high tolerance of Kenyan accents. A lot of our comedians are actually talking in the Kenyan accent. And we are laughing about it, and we are happy about it, and no one will discriminate you these days because of your accent. That is a step forward.
True. So
I think one of the biggest problems when you go abroad you face is the fact that apart from people expecting you to give them, you also expect to give back.
True.
That's a big problem, because you expect that, and the people who go to foreign countries, first of all, they're the first ones in their families, and they leave their families at a very dire situation.
And there's a harambe.
And there's a harambe. So it's a dire situation. Your father, your uncles, your aunties, and the whole village came and sold stuff, sold land, like there was in Gishu and high school, the school thing, which was there. So when you go there, and I had this opportunity to talk to another athlete who had gone and lost his legs in Alaska. The pressure they undergo, the pressure because everyone else has contributed towards you traveling to the foreign land. 90% of these people have not even lived in Nairobi. The city they know is the shopping center with 3 shops in their villages.
And one M-Pesa.
And one M-Pesa. And that's the biggest town they have been to, because they have not even worked in this city. So the culture shock, number one, really hits them really hard. And then they expect to send money home. And then you send money. And then they start living hand to mouth. When they want to come back to Africa or in Kenya, they find it so difficult to reintegrate again, because the people you left are asking, you left us with a quarter shamba. Do you still want to sit with us in this quarter shamba? So you go buy yours. You understand?
That's true.
And then when they come back home again, they realize the person they left has really developed. Sometimes you come back and you realize, wow, is that guy I left? He owns a flat here and there. But because you live in the States and you know the tax regime and the way people work and all that, you are making money, yes. You're sending most of it, and you cannot invest in yourself. So you become so frustrated.
That is true.
And the frustration is what is killing Kenyans when they come back.
And to go further is this. There's this African narrative, we have Ubuntu. You know, all of us together.
Yes.
And now when you're the one that actually now makes it, forget even going to the diaspora.
Yes.
You're the one who makes it. You have a sense of responsibility to actually now take care of your cousin who needs to go to school, take care of your sister who needs to go to school. You need to take care of even now your family. Your dad had this loan, make sure you clear it. There's so many responsibilities that are given to you when you are the one who actually is perceived as the person who's the haven or even the savior of the family. Because when you make it, quote unquote, make it, or even get a source of consistent income, you are given the responsibility to actually even take care of your family who's actually now not made it, especially if you come from the place where now this is where poverty now comes, even drags down its own if you do not have set boundaries. Now, what's the solution? Because I don't want to talk about the problem. What's the solution? So the basic thing is this. You have to now set up a way in which people are not reliant on you. Because when people are reliant on you, they become a parasite to you and drag you down for you to build the boat and actually now wider for more people to even come on. People need to now play an active role towards constructing even the wealth that you're actually even building. When you are the one in the family actually now is being relied upon and people are asking, even you should learn how to tell your mom no. And not even how to tell your dad no. Because the moment you're not able to do that, you're saying no to yourself, and you most definitely, because you're the person that the family is relying on, you're actually now putting the family at risk for them to actually build something that's even generational and something that people will actually now say that indeed, because Maria has built this, the family of so many generations is still able to be fed. The reason why we don't have a lot of generational wealth is because people actively siphon out the one person that's literally now making some sort of income, not even a lot, some sort of income, and then they're siphoned down to the bare minimum, and they're not able to grow that 100,000 income to 500,000 to 1.5, and they're only able to now separate that 100,000, and then now they're chopping it down to so many people who are in their family. Same case is duplicated even people who even travel abroad, and that's what usually happens. Now that narrative, when you actually get an income, learn how to put your people to work. Teach them that indeed, if you're asking, you gotta know that indeed, I'm gonna ask something from you also. And it does not even have to be monetary. If your auntie is constantly asking you to help her with this, be the first to ask her for something back. Very fast. That is the first. Oh yes, I ask her, oh auntie, you remember so-and-so, I remember you had that in your farm, I need that, can you please bring it to mom? If she doesn't, remind her indeed that she's also not a resource to you. That is also the main thing. That is how you set boundaries, because family is also useful beyond the realms of only finances. There are other ways you can put them to good use. So if they're always asking you for money, put them to good use. And if they say no, remind them and be quick to remind them. Because that's how you set the boundaries very firmly. Because this happens to a lot of people. When they go to university, they get that first job, then all of a sudden, even it's not even restricted to male or female nowadays. Even the ladies are being asked by even their own relatives. That is a fact. Right now it used to be, oh, you're the firstborn, now it's all on you. Now it's streamlined across. So make sure you actually recognize that. Set proper boundaries for your own financial future, and that is something that I would say when concerning this situation. Yep. Yeah.
It's called
what is your punchline?
It's called the oxygen mask theory.
Yeah.
Put on your mask first.
Exactly.
Because I mean, you know, one of the things, this is how I normally make my daughter eat traditional African vegetables. I tell her, Mommy, you know, behind you there's 4,000 people, ancestors, who survived on this food for you to be for you to be here today.
Yes.
So therefore eat this food. Just acknowledging that actually there's people, for you to be where you are, there's people who have really played a role, and no matter where you are in the world, you must remember and give back. So that is what some people call the black tax, whatever, because you then need also to be responsible. But put on your mask.
Okay.
The oxygen mask first before you start saving other people.
What's your punchline? What's your last?
My punchline is, as much as we are parenting wisely and nicely, can we try and encourage our children to actually learn their cultures, move around in their own country with their own resources, so that we do not erode Africa as it is? Because right now we have a lot of British-speaking children with nothing to say.
Wow, no content. Yeah. Guys, my punchline is, hey, Kenyans, remember, we are the true opposition. Don't you dare put your hopes in these politicians. They will cheat on you like a cheater. They will lie to you. You are the true opposition. Hold your leaders accountable.
Yeah, so you're saying, cousins, remember that even President Ruto and Rigiji might come back together.
Exactly.
Oh, tell me your matters.
Cousins.
Exactly. Yes. And that's the truth. That's just him keeping it real.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week, okay? Cheers.